How long will Canadians have to wait for measures on to help with housing?
Well,
Welcome back to Northern Perspective, everyone. I'm Cypher.
And I'm Fox. Just when you thought Trudeau couldn't make it any worse for his party, he decided to send Chrystia Freeland back out to the Maritimes to talk about climate change, how great Canadians have it, and how much of it she understands. I mean, by all means, if you think that the polling numbers are graded the same as your golf score, keep sending her out there to talk to Canadians like they're in her kindergarten class.
As mentioned on our live stream, we are very happy to be informing you that we will be interviewing a Conservative Member of Parliament for one of our episodes in the coming weeks. If you are a member of our channel, you have the opportunity to submit questions for Fox and I to ask them during our chat. If you are not a member but wish to be, you can click the join button below the video or the link that's in the description. Lastly, keep this channel growing strong by hitting that like button to push this out to even more viewers, and subscribe to the channel so you're notified for our next episode. With that, let's dig into this insanity, shall we?
Hi, Ben Clary, NTV News. I was wondering if you could expand on, because we keep hearing it's a race towards the green transition. It's stumbling to get that out. How are we doing in that race? Are we winning it right now? And who's our main competitor or competitors?
great question. I think we're doing very well in the race. And I think we are one of the winners. But I think the real answer to that question is going to be given in the next 12 to 24 months.
What the hell type of an answer is this? So it's a pretty simple question. So the reporter asked her and stated that she said that there's this race for a transformation of a green economy. And how are we doing in that race? Are we winning? Are we losing? And who are we competing against? And her response is, that's a great question. I wasn't counting on being asked that. People shouldn't be asking questions based on what I've said in the past. That's not fair. So we're the winners, but we may not be because I can't answer that. Maybe in 12 months I can answer that. Like, this is just pure garbage coming out of her mouth. Like, this is insane.
We're competitive right now. After the budget was tabled, TD published a report kind of analyzing our different credits and saying, yeah, Canada is one of the few countries, maybe the only country in the world today that is now neck and neck with the US when it comes to being an attractive investment destination for clean energy, for renewables.
What is wrong with this lady? So you said we were winning. Now we're not winning? Does that mean we're not even competing? But we had to invest some money in order to be able to compete. But you just said we were winning. Now you're talking about just investing in Canada for corporations that want to invest in green energy, that we're able to compete with the US. And she's all over the place. And she still hasn't stated who the competitors are. So it sounds like we're in a race with ourselves to spend the most money. That's what it sounds like.
The Canadian government has pledged $13 billion to Volkswagen to come to Canada and build a plant. Some sort of green energy plant. I think it's a battery plant. Folks, that's $325 tax dollars for each and every Canadian in this country. So think about that. The government is taking from each and every one of us $325 and giving it to Volkswagen so that they can build a plant here in Canada. I don't care how green it is. Canadians are struggling right now, and you should not be taking the money out of their pockets, out of our pockets, to give it to Volkswagen.
Well, it sounds like Volkswagen isn't even investing anything because the Canadian government is giving them $13 billion to come here. So, what the hell are you talking about? Companies are prioritizing Canada above all others to invest in. They're just coming here and taking the free money that you're giving them in order to run their business. Great business case.
Premier Andrew Furey has written a letter again to the Prime Minister asking for a pause on clean fuel regulations. In your opinion, is there a chance that that pause could happen?
So, if you didn't catch that question, it was essentially that the Premier of Newfoundland and Labrador wrote a letter to Trudeau begging him to pause the carbon tax for that province. Like, nobody travels around Newfoundland, New Brunswick, PEI, Nova Scotia by bus. No one travels around by subway. They have to drive. It's almost entirely rural except for a few small populated areas. So it doesn't make sense that they're having to pay carbon tax out there. Never mind the rest of the country. But especially over there. So, what are you going to do, Freeland?
Look, I take the concerns of the Premier, of Ken's constituents, because Ken talked to me about them. I take those concerns very seriously. The cost of living is a real challenge here in Newfoundland and Labrador. And, you know, gas is a part of that. Heating oil is a part of that. I think it's important to recognize that the climate action incentive payments, they're going to make a difference. That's $1,300 for a family of four. I don't want to overstate it. It won't solve everything, but it will make a real difference.
So I can't believe we are still having to fact check this. But according to the report by the Parliamentary Budget Office, Newfoundlanders and Labradorians are getting an average of negative $1,300 back. Whatever they're getting back, they're paying $1,300 more. And I hate this talking point because it's just a straight up lie that Freeland and the Liberals push to try and make it seem like, oh, we're making things so much easier by giving you money. You're giving us, quote unquote, you're returning part of the money that you stole from us on the stupid carbon tax. That's what's going on here.
And I do also think we all need to recognize, and look, people here recognize it maybe more than pretty much anybody else in the country, that the climate transition is an opportunity for our country. That it is something that if we embrace, and we are, that is a tremendous source of jobs and growth for today and for the future.
Did she just say that we should embrace paying the carbon tax?
Sounded like it.
This lady is just bonkers.
She's out to lunch.
I'm just getting so mad listening to her because she's essentially saying, so the answer is going to be no, Premier of Newfoundland, and all of you just need to calm down and embrace paying us more money. Embrace not being able to afford groceries.
Embrace not being able to feed your kids or drive them to soccer practice.
Or even afford your home. Embrace it, everybody. Because this is part of the green transition.
This is the new normal, folks.
Like, go to hell, Freeland. Seriously, go to hell. Like, my God, you would not be talking this way if your riding was out in Newfoundland. But because your riding is in downtown Toronto,
where all the urbanites live.
Yeah, and you don't need a car, then they're not going to care. But holy hell, Canada, listen to this lady. This is just unreal at this point.
Ted Dillon, CBC. How long will Canadians have to wait for measures and to help with housing?
Ted Dillon, CBC. Wow, that guy needs to come work for Northern Perspective. I don't know if he was the guy that we were praising before, but he asked good questions, man. So, and it's a great question. Following the Liberal retreat last week, where they talked about what, everybody? Housing affordability. He says, so when are you going to be announcing any measures to help with housing affordability, Freeland?
Well, in order to announce measures, you have to actually create measures.
Right? So let's see if there's any created. I think we all know the answer.
Well,
Wow. Well,
Like,
Jesus Christ.
you would think because Freeland's a seasoned politician that she would know when she goes to these like press conferences or these announcements, whatever you want to call them, that she's going to be asked questions about things that the conference is not necessarily about. She's going to be asked about the crime problems in this country. She's going to be asked about the housing crisis, the energy crisis, not necessarily what she's there to talk about. And she just acts like these questions are completely unexpected. Like she has no answer for them.
Yeah, like they're coming completely out of left field. And it just shows that she's just completely out to lunch.
our government has been working on housing for a long time now, and there are measures in place today that will be delivering for Canadians. I'll mention two. One is the First Home Savings Account. That was a measure which became available in April. Many banks are now offering it because the First Home Savings Account has proven to be so popular. It is tax-free in, tax-free out, and it means a Canadian looking to buy their first home can put away $40,000 to save for that down payment.
Are you kidding?
How can Canadians save for a down payment when Canadians can barely afford groceries?
Yeah, that's the whole problem, Freeland.
Oh, I know. Well, I'll just stop our Disney Plus subscriptions.
Like, you're so stupid.
She's so out of touch.
And even then, so you're going to save $40,000. Let's just say you can put away $40,000, all right? The average price of a home in Canada is around $600,000 or $700,000.
That's like barely the 5% down payment.
Yeah, so that doesn't do anything for you, Freeland. Because they're going to have to pay mortgage insurance on top of that. It does nothing. Congratulations, you created a tax-free savings account. What a stupid thing to do and announce as an initiative. That was the first thing that came to her mind. Meaning, because that's the best thing that they had.
Exactly. They haven't done anything. They keep immigration rates high, and they keep like building rates low. Like people are not building houses. There's no skilled trades. When we spoke to construction cronies, he told us there's huge deficits of workers across all fields: electricians, plumbers, carpenters, everybody.
And as we heard in the last video that we did, we're in need of 5.8 million homes.
Million with an M. Like that's huge. And you know, if the Liberals are letting 1 million people into this country every year, that means we need, on average, 500,000 new homes per year.
And the less we build and the more we bring in, that 5.8 goes up and up and up and up. And it never comes down. Because this past year, we only built 217,000 homes.
We built more homes in the 70s than we built this past year.
Yep. But, you know, thanks for giving us a tax-free savings account. Morons.
And from my perspective, the fact that so many Canadians are now opening those accounts shows that it is a measure that is meeting a need. So that's one example of something which is there now since the spring, and I'm really, really glad to see the uptake. Another example of a measure which is there right now is the National Housing Accelerator. Details of that were finalized in the spring, and the money is going to start now to go out the door. This is $4 billion. It's like a race from the top program to encourage municipalities across the country to identify for themselves what do they need to build more homes.
Are you kidding me?
It's not even to build the homes, it's to quote unquote identify what they need to build the homes.
So you're paying these bureaucrats to sit in a room and say, all right, guys, we just got $4 billion. Congrats, everyone. This is what happens when we don't build anything. Okay, so let's come up with some ideas on what we need to build more homes. Jerry in the back. Yes, Jerry. Hi, Bob. I say that we need more money. Let's ask for more money to build more homes. That's a great suggestion, Jerry. Jim, mark that down. We're going to send that back to Freeland, that we need even more money to build. This is what we're talking about here, folks.
It's a bureaucratic nightmare. Give me that money. I will tell you right now what we need to build more homes.
And you know what? And I'll take that money and I will get homes built with it. How about that? Like, this is the corruption here and the government waste that they're talking about. So their national accelerator plan is just handing out $4 billion and waiting for information. This is your liberal government in action, everybody.
Freeland, I'll give you that information for free. You need skilled trades people, you need permits, and you need land, and you also need materials. That's probably about it.
Handing out money and just waiting for suggestions, that's not a strategy, Freeland.
But that seems to be the liberal strategy. Just throw money at it and hope everything goes away.
Well, I'll tell you what is going away. All of their voters, because they've had it. This is the worst run party I have ever seen in Canadian history. I think the NDP are run better than the Liberals at this point. So, ladies and gentlemen, Chrystia Freeland, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance for Canada. Your home problems are solved with a tax-free savings account.
You can't live in a tax-free savings account.